Hello, 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 and welcome. It's your girl, Allison Rozelle, also known as Coach Roz, and I am here live and direct from my living room. Um, yes, so we are going to be talking a little bit today. This is not going to be a long session. Yesterday was long simply because we just had a lot to talk about and we haven't talked in a while, so we needed to catch up. But today is not going to be as long, but it is something that a subject that is very near and dear and sensitive for me. So I was just wanted to just kind of talk about it because one thing that always is helpful is to know that you're not alone. You're not alone at all, and support is there. Support is there. All right. So it seems that a lot of people are talking about it, and a lot of times when things happen, it does bring about those conversations that hopefully will continue to happen. People will keep talking about it. But, excuse me, we need to talk about mental health, mainly depression. In the wake of Kate Spade um, committing suicide, which, for those of us that are fans of hers, that's devastating. Um, because it's like somebody that you see, you admire, you like their work and everything else, and you never ever know what they've been dealing with silently. And that's not even just for people who are famous, that's for regular everyday people. You see people every single day, and you have no idea what that person is battling and dealing with. For me, depression is something that needs to be talked about more. I'm glad to see that a lot more people are addressing it, but it still needs more attention because it's so real. It's so real, and people, tend to feel like depression just means someone is sitting off in a corner, rocking back and forth, listening to sad music. And it's so much more than that. I'm going on my computer because I promised myself that there was something that I wanted to have pulled up. And Eureka, I found it. So yes, a lot of times that is a misconception. Some people who, don't understand, they tend to, say things like, well, that person is not like sitting somewhere crying. They're not, doing this or doing that. And it's like, well, it's more than just sitting around and just, rocking back and forth and crying. There's a lot more to it. And so many times what ends up happening is a lot of people who are suffering from depression don't even realize they're depressed, you know? And I can say for myself, I didn't know because I didn't recognize the signs when it was happening to me. I knew things were happening. I knew that something wasn't right, but I had no idea of what it is. So first, let me go over some of the symptoms that per WebMD they're saying are some of the symptoms. So, sad, empty, or anxious. Helplessness, worthless or guilty feelings, feelings of hopelessness. You're irritable. You have less interest in doing activities, no matter what those activities are, whether it's going shopping, by yourself with friends, with family, going and doing things that you would normally do. I mean, some people even lose interest in sex. It happens. You're less energetic. You have trouble concentrating. There are changes in the way that you sleep. Either you wake up too early or you have trouble falling asleep. or you just sleep way more than you should be sleeping. Changes in your appetite, whether you lose your appetite or you overeat. Because someone like myself, I'm an emotional eater. Then you have aches and pains like headaches and cramps and upset stomach and a lot of digestive issues. So, first and foremost, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. So I want to get that right out of the open. But what I am is a survivor of clinical depression. So I can speak on it because I lived it. It is a process of getting over depression. Like I said, people think that it's just you sitting around somewhere being sad, and that's not it. My depression stemmed from a few things that kind of stacked with me. So, you're welcome, Goddess Afua, because it needs to be talked about. So many people won't talk about it, and it needs to be talked about. For me, my depression stemmed from the fact that I was a young mother, and I had fallen in love with the father of my child, and we were engaged, and then the next minute we weren't. That started it. The knife in the heart for me, excuse that metaphor, but that's what I could only equate it with, was when he married someone else. He married someone else and moved to another state. And I'm not talking about a neighboring state. I mean like a state like way like New York. I'm in Georgia. Well, at the time I was in Tennessee, but he's in the state of New York. So he moved far away. So that meant I was going to be raising my son alone. Even though, yes, I had my family, but there was not the mom-dad dynamic that I always wanted my son to have. So he left me to be something that I didn't want to be, which is a baby mama. I didn't want to be someone's baby mama. I wanted to be someone's wife and have children. I didn't want that. You know, I saw it for other people and I was like, yeah, that's your story, but that's not mine. You know, well, you know, my son's father and I, we're in love and we're going to get married. That didn't happen. And then another part of my depression was someone that I confided in a lot and talked to a lot and shared so much of my life with. I watched them die of a painful death of bone cancer, and that was my grandmother, my mother's mother. My grandmother was my heart, and watching her die and then her die, you know, that was very traumatic for me, to see someone that was always so full of life and just beautiful and wonderful and loved everyone that she ever came in contact with, you know, and treated everyone like family. To lose her, to lose my relationship to someone else, and a host of other things just basically made everything just start crashing down on me. And I felt like my world was just over. So I started using vices to cope. So I would eat. I ate a lot. Most of my weight gain, a lot of times people, you know, like, well, after you have a baby, you gain a lot of weight. Well, I really didn't gain that much weight after having my son. I honestly didn't. My weight came from my depression because I ate. I ate my pain. I overate. I smoked cigarettes. I drank alcohol. I did a lot of things that to try to make me cope, to make me feel better, to make whatever this was that was going on in me go away. But no matter what I did, it just wasn't. It wasn't going away. And I can remember when I was at work, I was so like overwhelmed and so to my breaking point pretty much that I took a phone call because I was in a call center. I took a phone call. I got off that call. I still don't know what that person was telling me, and there's no telling what I told that person because I was not there. And then I burst into this explosion of tears and I could not stop crying. I could not stop crying at all. And my co-workers, Rashonda and Adrian, I love them for life because they really looked out for me, and they took me to the restroom so I could get myself together. And it wasn't helping. I was crying uncontrollably. I could not catch my breath. I almost started hyperventilating because I could feel myself losing myself. It was like Allison was leaving, and I could feel it, and it scared the hell out of me. I was like, what is happening to me? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like my life is over? And I also can remember within that same week, I had a moment of tears and crying in front of my son, and he was like 4 or something like that, and as cute and beautiful and wonderful as my son is, he got on my lap and he just hugged me. He was like, Mommy, it's gonna be okay. I'm your friend. It's gonna be okay. I love you, and all that stuff that he said to me, and it made me cry more, because then I realized I gotta stop. I gotta get help. He needs me. If it weren't for his voice pleading me to stop crying, to feel better, that he would, in his own little way, trying to make everything go away so his mommy can smile, his mommy can be happy and be there and be completely there. That's when I knew I had to get help. So I went to work the next day, and I looked on our intranet at my benefits, and I took a look at therapists to see who I could go to that was close, that I could go to on like my lunch break and everything. Yes, Afua, Goddess Afua's, he is awesome. He's awesome to this day. He's still my rock. I went to therapy, and she started helping me cope. She even asked me, she was like, so do you think that you're Superwoman? I remember her asking me that, and I was like, but I have to do this and I have to do that, and everybody's depending on me, and I need to do this and everything else. And she was like, yeah, you're slowly going to kill yourself if you keep going at this pace. Your brain, your emotions, your body can't take anymore. That's why you keep bursting out in these ways. That's why you keep lashing out at people, and then you close up. I would close up, and I didn't want to talk to nobody. Don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't do anything. Well, all of that is signs of depression. So no, it's not sitting in a dark room listening to dark, sad music rocking back and forth. This is not a movie. This shit is real. It is dark because you go into this dark place, and it was this dark place for me that I just did not understand. Why am I here? What am I doing? Wouldn't life be better if I just wasn't here anymore? And I remember that's why I was crying when my son told me that he loved me and that he wanted me to stop crying and everything else, because I was really thinking about that. I was like, wouldn't this life be better if I just weren't here anymore? Why am I still here? So I remember that. So depression is real. And I'll just tell you, because it needs to be said, depression is not something that just gets overnight healing. It's not going to be a hallelujah, I'm healed moment. It's not. It's not going to be that. It's a process. It was a process for me to overcome my depression. It was many, many steps for me to get out of my depression. And quite honestly, I just got myself right in 2015, where I could clearly say, I am free. I love me. I am free. I don't have this anymore. It's still a battle with a lot of stuff, because I feel myself sometimes shrinking and going back into that place. But then I have to remember, I have to remember that I've overcome it once and I can overcome it again, and that I'm bigger than it, that I can beat it. But I can't beat it alone. And that's what I want to tell you is you can't beat it alone. You got to get help. You got to get help. Please get help. Please get help. Back then, back in 2000, I know the internet was around, but there wasn't a whole lot of stuff, supportive stuff online that you could find. So you had to do a lot more digging to find, the things that you needed. But, now, there's so much. You just Google it and whoop, there it is. So, but don't try to self-diagnose. Go see a professional. But if you feel like you have some of these symptoms and they're not going away, then please just go get help. That's not number one thing. First and foremost, seek help. Seek help. Realize that there's help for you. Someone out there can help you. Can help you learn how to cope and figure things out. Yes, we are a goddess of fool. We are all together in this. There's no, you're not alone. You're not. As long as I'm here, I'm with you because I've been there and I know how it feels. I do. I understand how it feels. Now, granted, my depression is different from your depression, so on and so forth. Everyone's experience is different, but I understand it. I do. I understand it. Secondly, don't let anybody shame you in getting help. Don't let anybody talk you out of it and shame you and say, oh, you just need to go, Here's the nauseating thing that I really don't like. Please stop telling people just pray about it. Please stop saying that, because that shit really pisses me off when I hear it. I don't want you to tell someone just pray about it, because guess what? If you're going to sit and talk all this Bible and all this stuff to someone, well, here's something that I'm going to throw back at you. Faith without works is dead. So if that person is praying about it, then that means they're praying for a solution, and the only way they can get a solution is if they do the work. That means if they get themselves up off their behind and go and get help, that faith that they put into action from that prayer is how they will get healed. Stop telling people just pray about it. Stop saying that. I get really, really angry when I hear people say that. They just need to pray about it. If they would just pray about it, it'll go away. No, it won't. It'll fester and it'll get worse. And before you know it, they're the next Kate Spade or Robin Williams or someone else who's not famous who killed themselves because they just couldn't take it anymore. And they didn't feel like they had an out. They didn't feel like they had someone to understand, to listen to them, to feel them, to witness them. And that's what people want. I don't want you to sit and tell people just, pray about it. Stop that. Tell them to get help. And then if they don't want to go get help, say, okay, I'll take you. I'll go with you. I'll be there for you. That's what you tell somebody. Stop with all that just pray about it crap. That's why most people, I forget what the percentage is, the people that are in church are depressed because they're repressing stuff because they're told that what they're feeling isn't real, and if they just pray about it, it'll go away. It's not. So let me free you from that. It's not going to just go away. If you are a believer in God, then know that God has put people in the earth that are there to support you, to help you. They're professionals. And then you have support groups. Get help. Get it. Receive it. Don't just get the help. Receive the help. Receive it when it comes. If you're going to ask for the help, then receive it when it comes. Receive it when it comes. Pray for the discernment to know when it's the right help. And receive that help when it comes. Lastly, give yourself permission to feel your feelings. Give yourself permission to feel your feelings. There is no shame in being afraid. There is no shame in being human and having human emotions and feeling your way through those human emotions. There is no shame in that. People that shame you for that are only upset because they don't have the balls or the ovaries to feel their own feelings. Nobody is that hard. Nobody is that solid. Nobody is that together. Everybody cries in the dark. Believe me. The hardest person that you know has sat back and cried tears and everything else, and nobody's been watching. So feel your feelings. Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. Feel your feelings and get it out. Talk to somebody, please. I don't like reading about someone committing suicide. It's a very, because there's so much more that you could do for yourself. There's so much more, and a lot of times when people get to that point of suicide, it just, I lost someone in that I was in school with in high school, and I'll never ever forget this. No one knew her pain. And we were in high school, so we didn't recognize it. We didn't see it. She always wore a smile. She was so, oh my God, she was so beautiful. Her presence, her personality, I see her so vividly right now. Just beautiful person, inside and out. Just so gorgeous. But she battled with her weight. She was always feeling like she wasn't enough, that she wasn't pretty enough. She wasn't the most popular girl. She wasn't those things that we think we have to measure ourselves up to. So she was in so much pain, and she didn't have anybody to turn to about it. Nobody to turn to. And she took her life. She took her life. And she's someone, like I said, I see her so vividly right now. It's unbelievable how vivid she is in my mind, because she left that much of an imprint in my mind. Her name, in my heart, her name is Angela. So, Angel. She is an angel. She's always been an angel right here on earth. And it hurt my heart so bad when I found out that she killed herself. Depression is real, y'all, and we've got to stop ignoring those signs. We've got to stop telling people just pray about it or go walk it off or whatever. We got to stop encouraging people to just go drink or go smoke weed or whatever, because you know what? That's not going to help. Believe me, I know. It only lasts for a little while, and then you're looking for your next fix in whatever form or fashion it comes in. And it's all destructive. It's not healthy. What is healthy is seeking help, getting help, and receiving help. So that's my message today. Sorry it wasn't all cheerful and bubbly, which I'm actually not sorry, because this is something that somebody needs to know and hear. So I'm here. If you need someone to just witness you and talk to you, I'm here. I'm not a professional. I'm not as far as like a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist of any kind. I'm not a doctor, but I understand. And I will find resources. I'll help you find resources. I'll do whatever. But just please know you are not alone in this. You're not. You're not. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. Tune in tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We'll have another live chat, I promise. And I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.